you would find in a city. And my friends and I during the day would drink all we wanted. Now the butler kept the bar restocked thinking my dad was drinking it at night, and my dad didn't know it was missing because the butler kept restocking the bar. So we could drink all we wanted. And then when I lived with Mom in New York, she was in show business. She was sort of a hippie. I don't know how they ever got together. You've never seen two opposites together more than my mom and dad. He was a Republican, she was a Democrat, he was a redneck, she was a hippie, just complete opposites. And that's why they were only married till I was 3 years of age. But Mom was into smoking pot and hash and LSD and drugs. And I remember one night she said, Doug, I know you're going to be doing this sooner or later. I was going to public school in New York City back then. She said, I just assume you did it at home. And so she rolled a joint and started smoking pot with me 2 or 3 times a week. Before we went to bed at night, my mom and I would smoke pot and eat ice cream, watch TV. Then when my brother would come up from Florida, where he was living for his health, Falcon couldn't smoke because of cystic fibrosis. So Mom was a good cook. She used to make marijuana or hashish brownies. And my brother and I took him to a school party one time and gave some to the teachers. See if we get them to loosen up a little bit. So, you know, I got into drugs and alcohol at an early age. And just a little point that I don't want to rush past. With all that we say about the war on drugs, you need to keep in mind, as bad as all that is, more of my friends that I grew up with have been killed by alcohol than all the others put together. I worry about that because it's the legal drug, supposedly. And then I got involved in crime. When I was living with Dad in Miami Beach, we lived on this island with all these other millionaire kids, and we'd get bored, and so we'd start breaking into the houses of the millionaires. We didn't need the money, it was just a thrill for us. And it was kind of funny because the security guards that guarded the island thought that there was a band of thieves that were coming by boat. And we would see the police patrolling the island trying to catch these burglars that were breaking into all the houses, and it was the kids of the millionaires that lived on the house. What do you want to do tonight? I don't know. Let's go break into someone's house. Oh, I broke into my house last week. Let's go break into your house. And so we'd, just for fun, and then it started out like that, and then it got more serious, and we were actually burglarizing homes. I wanted so much to be loved and recognized. I was always the class clown and getting in trouble because I was starved for attention. My friends would dare me to do anything, and I'd do almost anything just to have them like me. And they'd dare me to jump off the bridge into Biscayne Bay, and I'd do it, scared to death. I wouldn't let them know. Or they'd dare me to break into a house while the lights were still on. They could see people walking around in the house, and I'd do it. It started like a joke, but it got worse and worse, where I was in and out of jail, and I was chased by the police and shot at, started using drugs, and now I started stealing because I needed the money. I ran away from home the first time when I was 13, and then last time when I was 15 years old. Took off hitchhiking, told my dad, I said, I don't need school. I said, I don't know what good it is. He says, well, you need an education so you can make a good living. And I thought, well, look, you've got all the money in the world. You're not happy. What good is it? Hitchhiking up the road, and Highway 95, I ended up in Boston. Started living on the streets. I ran into a Vietnam vet, and he and I started doing burglary together, breaking into houses and stealing TVs and stealing cars, and we were trying to kill ourselves. I mean, I'd steal a car, 15 years old, and we'd pull up to the police and ask for directions, hoping we'd get involved in a high-speed chase. You know, because you think you're invincible when you're young like that. And while I was living like this in Boston, I was never lazy. I had a part-time job. I was 16 years old at this point. I was working as a security guard at night. I know, that doesn't make any sense at all. I had a driver's license that said I was 18, and here I am, I'm working as a thief during the day, and I'm breaking into homes, and at night I'm working as a security guard, and I was very honest. The people that paid me trusted me to guard, and I guarded faithfully. When I checked out, then I went and stole from somebody else. And folks said, now isn't that backwards, Doug? But really, if you're walking out of someone's house with a television set in the middle of the night, you look suspicious. You do it in broad daylight while they're at work, they think you're moving. And so that was the time to do it. But I met a friend who was very religious. He was a security guard. He found out about my day job. And I said, Jerry, are you going to turn me in? And he said, Doug, I don't need to turn you in. Your karmas are going to get you. I said, what? And your karma is this Eastern philosophy that all things come back to you. And you know, there's an element of truth in that. The Bible says, with what measure you meet, it will be measured to you again. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I said, oh, come on, there's no God. I stole that TV, I got rid of it, nothing happened, nothing's going to happen. He said, you'll see. Not long after he told me that, I woke up in my apartment in Boston one morning. My door was open and my TV was gone. And my radio. And I was really mad, too. I stomped around and called the police and wanted them to track down these criminals right away that were ruining our society. And I started watching, and I discovered that almost everything I did seemed to backfire on me. It had been happening all along, but I never noticed that I was not getting ahead. I would steal something, and my friends were all thieves. They'd then steal it from me. They'd sell it. I don't know where it went. No. Or I'd steal something, and I was usually high or on drugs, and I'd hide it, and then when I'd sober up, I'd forget where I hid it. Or I'd like risk my life to steal a stereo. I'd get back to my place huffing and puffing. I'd plug it in. It was a broken stereo. It didn't even work. And I thought, this can't be a coincidence. This must be a God. And what convinced me was a little thing. I did not quit stealing cold turkey. I tried to use the patch and taper off, And so I went to someone's home and I stole a box of Krusty's Instant Pancake Mix. It was the whole wheat variety. It was very attractive to me because I was a hippie back then. I was very health conscious. I'm smoking and drinking and using LSD and staying up all night, but I only eat whole wheat pancake mix because, the other stuff's not good for your health. And so I saw that my friend had some whole wheat pancake mix, and I stole it, got back to my house. Oh, I want to mention something. I noticed on the top of the box it was stamped with one of the little blue stamps, $1.19. You remember back before they had the barcode, they had the little circular stamps with the price on it. It said $1.19. I got back to my place that same day. Some friends had come through and they stole my brand new jar of Tang instant breakfast drink, and they drank the whole thing. And there by the empty jar was the lid, and it was stamped $1.19. And I looked at the pancake mix and I thought, crime doesn't pay. There must be a God. Now, once I realized there was a God, that really shook me up. Because up to then, I thought no matter what you do in life, you don't have to worry about any accountability. I thought if there's a God, there might be a heaven, and there's possibly the other place, and I knew where I was trending. So I thought I better find out about God. So I turned on the TV Sunday morning, and I began to surf through the channels, and I listened to a lot of preachers beg for money. And then I turned on the news, and it said the Catholics are killing the Protestants in Ireland, and the Protestants are killing the Catholics, and I said, Christians are all hypocrites. You ever heard someone say that? I don't want to be a Christian. They're all hypocrites. I made a big mistake a lot of people make. When you want to find out what a Christian is, who do you look at? Christians? Sounds logical, but that's wrong. If you want to find out what a Christian is, you look at Christ. A Christian is not a follower of Christians. A Christian's a follower of Jesus. And you'd be amazed how many people I meet that have become discouraged with Christianity because they're looking at bad examples of Christ. Well, I said, they're all hypocrites. So I got involved in all these other religions. And I went at everything I did with all my might. I got involved in Buddhism. And then I took a course in transcendental meditation. And then I took a New Age course in Silva mind control, where you get into your alpha brain levels and you channel and you use these lower forces to heal people from a distance. And you can also win lotteries. It's very handy. And so I was just searching for God in all these different ways. I remember once I got into yoga, looking for God. I did all these contorted things and stood on my head. The only thing I found was my hair fell out when I did that. I even one time I was in Santa Monica living on the streets. I was about 16 years old still. And I went to a Christian mission. And they feed you for free if you go to their